Hello, everyone. My name is Carmen Gonzalez, and this is my week 4 multimedia discussion on generations. So I was born in 1978, so that would put me on Generation X, and I would agree that some of the characteristics that I have, I'm definitely very goal-oriented. I, I've always been a multitasker, and I do really enjoy employers that allow me the discretion to make my best decisions and trust my judgment. And so, I think I would agree that that is some of the characteristics that kind of go in line with the description of a Generation X. Um, I do have a positive attitude, and I'm very thankful that I do have the opportunity to be employed. However, you know, um, I would disagree that that doesn't necessarily mean that, if I were not to feel content with the position, that I wouldn't feel um, that I wouldn't be able to leave the position. And so that's probably one of the areas that I would disagree. Definitely feel that loyalty to the position, if I feel valued, if I feel that I'm making a difference for that organization, then that is what usually keeps me with the position. And definitely the flexibility with work-life balance, those are things that are important for me. And I would look at that. Those are some of the areas that keep me in the position that I'm in.
So the generation I selected to talk about was the traditionalist. I know in our lectures it talked about the person who had the formal suit and so forth, but you know, a lot of the traits that I was reading, what came to mind was someone like my father. He was dedicated to his job. He sacrificed many things, family time, attendance, punctuality, and loyalty was to his company, and he was super responsive to management. I think this is the personality and the characteristics of a traditionalist that embraces those characteristics from that generation. It was important for that person to keep that job, being able to, um, be loyal and show that your number one priority was your job. So I think as a supervisor of multiple generations, you have to be able to manage differently. There isn't a one size fits all strategy. People are motivated by just different things, and as a supervisor, it's your role to identify what motivates your employee. And you can only have that by conversations, by understanding that the person will share, what are some of those motivators, what's important to them, why is it important to them, and keep in mind those things when you're working on assignments, working on building teams, and therefore you'll be able to be more successful in helping motivate that employee. Kind of as McGregor stated with his theory X and theory Y, there is two types of workers, but they require different approach to supervision. And I think the key is finding out early on what type of person you're working with. The agency often has systems in place to ensure that there's compliance and that it allows the supervisor to express and share a set of expectations of what those minimum standards are. But I think the key is to learn how to manage beyond that standard to get positive performance. I agree with Mary Parker Follett in the fact that if you communicate the why, the behind the why of a certain objective or a benchmark, I think people are more receptive and being part of that process and getting their buy-in versus it being an order. And I think those are some good ideas in how to be able to work with different generations. So this concludes my video for this week, and thank you for watching.